In a small-town diner, Lily, a quiet waitress with visible scars, endures cruel taunts from local bullies. One humiliating night, a mysterious veteran stands, salutes her, and unveils a truth that silences the room. What secret does he know? Watch to uncover a story of courage and redemption. The diner was a relic of a bygone era, its neon sign flickering against the dusk of Willow Creek, a sleepy town nestled in the heart of Indiana. The checkered floor was scuffed from years of boots and sneakers, and the air carried the comforting aroma of coffee and fried onions. Lily Harper moved through the tables with a practiced grace, her tray balanced like an extension of her body. She was 24, with soft brown eyes that seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 unspoken stories. Her arms, exposed by the short-sleeved uniform, bore jagged scars that snaked from her wrists to her elbows, pink and raised against her pale skin. She never hid them, though she flinched when customers stared too long. Tonight the diner was busier than usual, the hum of conversation punctuated by the clink of silverware and the sizzle of the grill. Lily had worked at Millie's Diner for 3 years. It's ever since she returned to Willow Creek after a stint in the city that she never spoke about. The townsfolk knew her as the quiet girl who kept to herself, always polite but never lingering for small talk. Some whispered about her scars, spinning tales of accidents or worse, but Lily offered no explanations. She didn't need to. Her life was her own, and she guarded it fiercely, even if it meant enduring the occasional cruel comment from people who thought they knew her story. At the corner booth, a group of 4 young men in their early 20s sprawled. Across the seats, their laughter loud and grating. They were regulars, the kind of crowd that strutted into the diner like they owned it. Leading the pack was Derek Walsh, broad-shouldered former high school football star who hadn't quite let go of his glory days. His friends, Tyler, Matt, and Jake, followed his lead, their voices carrying a mocking edge as they tossed a ketchup bottle between them like a football. Lily approached their table, her notepad ready, her expression neutral. "What can I get started for you?" she asked, her voice soft but clear. Derek leaned back, his grin sharp. "Well, look at you, Scarface. You ever think about wearing long sleeves? Might make people less uncomfortable." The other snickered, and Lily's hand tightened around her pen. She kept her eyes on her notepad. "Drinks?" she asked again, her tone unchanged. Tyler leaned forward, mimicking her quiet voice. "Drinks? Oh, come on, give us a smile. Or is that face too messed up for that too?" The words stung, but Lily had heard worse. She wrote down their usual orders, for Cokes, a basket of fries, without looking up. As she turned to leave, Derek called. After her, "Hey, maybe you should get a job in the back. Spare us the view." The diner didn't go silent, but it felt like it too, Lily. A few heads turned, some with pity, others with discomfort. She walked to the counter, her steps measured, and handed the order to the cook. Her hands shook slightly, but she steadied them by gripping the edge of the counter. Millie, the diner's owner, a stout woman with graying hair, caught her eye from the register. "You okay, hun?" she asked quietly. Lily nodded, forcing a small smile. Just another night, but it wasn't just another night. At a table near the window, an older man sat alone, his back straight as a rod. He was in his late 60s, his face weathered, with deep lines etched around his eyes and mouth. His silver hair was cropped close, military style, and he wore a faded denim jacket over a plain gray shirt. His name was Samuel Carter, though no one in the diner knew it yet. Had been coming to Millie's for a week, always sitting at the same table, always ordering black coffee and a slice of pie. He watched the scene unfold with a quiet intensity, his eyes narrowing as Derek's taunts echoed across the room. Samuel had noticed Lily the first day he walked into the diner. There was something about her, a resilience that reminded him of soldiers had known. People who carried their pain quietly but never let it break them. Had seen the scars, of course, but he didn't speculate like the others. He knew better than to assume. His own hands, resting on the table, bore faint marks of their own, burns and nicks from a life that hadn't been kind. He sipped his coffee, his gaze flicking between Lily and the booth of low Dems. The night wore on, the diner filled with the usual crowd. Truckers, families, a few teenagers sharing milkshakes. Derek and his crew grew louder, their taunts more pointed each time Lily passed their table. She ignored them, her face a mask of calm. But Samuel could see the tension in her shoulders, the way her steps faltered just slightly. Had seen that kind of strength before, the kind that held up under fire but could crack if pushed too far. When Lily brought their food, Derek didn't let up. I bet those scars have a story. What did you do, try to end it and mess that up? Two, he laughed, and his friends joined in, their voices carrying to every corner of the diner. A few customers shifted uncomfortably, but no one spoke up. Willow Creek was a small town, and Derek's family had influence. People didn't cross him. Lily set the plates down, her hands steady now. Anything else? She asked, her voice barely above. A whisper, asterisk, yeah, Derek said, leaning forward. Maybe some self-respect. That was when Samuel stood. The movement was slow, deliberate, but it drew every eye in the diner. He was tall, taller than he seemed when seated, and there was a quiet power in the way he carried himself. He walked toward Lily's side, his boots clicking against the floor. The diner fell silent. The only sound the faint hum of the jukebox in the corner. Samuel stopped beside Lily, his gaze fixed on Derek. "Son," he said, his voice low but commanding, "you're talking to someone who's earned more respect in her life than you'll ever understand." Derek blinked, caught off guard. "Who the hell are you, old man?" Samuel didn't answer right away. Instead, he turned to Lily, and in a gesture that stunned the room, he raised his hand to his brow in a crisp military salute. "Ma'am," he said, his voice steady, "it's an honor to be in your presence." The diner was frozen. Lily's eyes widened, confusion flickering across her face. Derek laughed, but it was nervous now, uncertain. "What's this? Some kind of joke? You saluting? Scarface here?" Samuel's eyes didn't leave Lily's. "No joke," he said. "I know who you are, Lily Harper. And I know what you did." Asterisk, the words hung in the air, heavy with meaning no one else understood. Lily's breath caught, and for the first time that night, her composure cracked. Her lips parted, but no words came. Samuel turned to the room, his gaze sweeping over the stunned customers. "This woman," he said, "is a hero, and you do well to show her the respect she deserves." Asterisk scoffed, but his bravado was slipping. "Hero her. She'd burn herself cooking. Or something." Samuel's jaw tightened, but he didn't take the bait. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small, worn photograph. He held it up for the room to see, though his eyes were still on Lily. The photo showed a young woman in a firefighter's uniform, her face smudged with soot but unmistakable. It was Lily years younger, standing in front of a burning building. 3 years ago, Samuel said, his voice carrying to every corner of the diner, there was a fire in Indianapolis, an apartment complex. The kind of blaze that makes even seasoned firefighters hesitate. This woman, barely 21, ran into that building. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. She pulled out a family, 2 kids and their mother. The 3rd time, the roof collapsed. She got them out, but not before the flames got her. The room was silent now. Every eye on Lily. Her face was pale, her eyes fixed on the photograph. She hadn't known it existed. Samuel continued, his voice steady, but filled with a quiet reverence. "Those scars? They're not a mark of shame. They're a badge of courage. She could have died that night, but she didn't. She saved lives, and she's been living with the consequences ever since." Derek's mouth opened, but no words came. His friends looked away, their earlier laughter replaced by shame. Millie, standing behind the counter, had tears in her eyes. A few customers murmured, their expressions shifting from curiosity to awe. Lily shook her head, her voice barely audible. "How do you know this?" Samuel's expression softened. "Because I was there," he said. "I was one of the paramedics on the scene. I saw what you did. I saw you carry that little girl out, even as the flames were eating your arms. I've carried that image with me ever since." The revelation hit the room like a shockwave. Lily's hands covered her mouth, and she took a step back, her eyes glistening. She hadn't spoken about that night to anyone, not even Millie. Shed left Indianapolis after the hospital, unable to bear the pitying looks, the endless questions. She'd come back to Willow Creek to start over, to be invisible. But now, her past was laid bare, and the weight of it was almost too much. Samuel turned to Derek, his voice hardening. You think it's funny to mock someone's pain? You think you're tough because you can make a girl flinch? Try running into a burning building, kid. Then we'll talk about courage. Derek shrank in his seat, his face red. His friends stared at the table, avoiding Samuel's gaze. The diner was still, the air thick with the weight of the moment. Then, slowly, an older woman at a nearby table stood and began to clap. Another joined her, then another, until the room was filled with applause. Lily stood frozen, tears streaming down her cheeks as the sound enveloped her. Millie rushed over, pulling Lily into a hug. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. Oh, honey, why didn't you say? Lily shook her head, unable to speak. The applause continued, a wave of support that Chet never expected. Samuel stepped back, giving her space, but his eyes never left her. There was a quiet pride in his expression, as if had been waiting for this moment since the day he first saw her in the diner. But the story wasn't over. As the applause died down, a man in a suit stood from a table near the back. He was in his 40s, with sharp features and an air of authority. He cleared his throat, drawing the room's attention. Lily Harper, he asked, his voice formal but kind. Lily wiped her eyes, nodding. Yes. My name is Robert Klein. With the Indianapolis Fire Department. I've been looking for you for a long time. The room buzzed with curiosity. Lily's brow furrowed. Why? Klein stepped forward, holding out an envelope. After the fire, you disappeared. We didn't know where you'd gone, but there's something you need to know. The family you saved, they've been trying to find you. They wanted to thank you, to honor you. And there's a commendation from the department, Medal of Valor. It's been waiting for you for 3 years. Lily's knees buckled, and Millie steadied her. The room was silent again, every eye on the envelope in Klein's hand. Lily took it, her hands trembling, and opened it to find a certificate in a small, gleaming medal. The words for extraordinary courage were engraved across it. I don't deserve this, Lily whispered, her voice breaking. Samuel's expression softened. You deserve more than that, Lily. You gave those people their lives. Don't ever think you're less because of what you carry. The diner erupted in applause again, louder this time, a chorus of support that shook the walls, where Derek and his friends slipped out quietly, their heads down, unable to face the room. Lily clutched the medal, tears falling freely now, but there was something new in her eyes, a spark of pride, of acceptance. As the night wound down, Samuel sat back at his table, his coffee long cold. Lily approached him, the medal still in her hand. Why didn't you say anything sooner? She asked. Samuel smiled faintly. You weren't ready to hear it? But tonight, I saw a chance to set things right. You've been hiding long enough? Lily nodded, her throat tight. Thank you, she said simply, and for the first time in years, she felt the weight of her scars lift. Just a little. The diner slowly emptied, the customers leaving with quiet nods of respect. Millie hung the certificate behind the counter where everyone could see it. Lily went back to work, her steps lighter, her smile a little more genuine. Samuel stayed until closing, watching her with a quiet satisfaction. Had done what he came to do, but there was one final twist. As Lily locked up the diner that night, she found a note tucked under the door. It was handwritten, the script neat but hurried. Lily, it read, I wasn't just a paramedic that night. I was the father of the girl you saved. Her name is Emily, and she's alive because of you. If you're ever ready, we'd like to meet you. To say thank you face to face. It was signed, Samuel Carter. Lily stood in the cold night air, the note trembling in her hands. She looked up at the stars, her heart full in a way it hadn't been in years. She didn't know if she was ready to meet Emily, to face that part of her past. But for the first time, she thought she might be. If this story of courage and redemption moved you, hit that subscribe button to join our community of storytellers. Share Lily's journey with others, and let us know in the comments which part of the country you're watching from. Your support keeps these stories alive. Thank you.